Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of Making the Grade with Dr. Wagner. As you see, we are actually on set, and when I say on set, I mean we're actually on set tonight. We just threw this show together, but I am so happy to be here. We thought our last show was going to be last week, but we got these three great guests, so we decided to pull everything together, make it work, and everyone's here. So thank you guys for being here. We have three CCSD superstars: Leonard Blades, Renjin Garcia, and Roberto Zamora, who's actually been with us before, and he's always welcome, but he's going to be back tonight, and he's going to talk to us about some political stuff going on, as I'm sure we all know. They've all given back so much to CCSD. They've been ambassadors, and on top of that, they've just been great Cuny students. So in that respect, you know, we're very happy that you guys are here. Also, what we're going to do, we're going to take this opportunity to show the footage that we took last week of Matty Conlin. Matty, a leading voice in media and disability studies. I believe some of you know him, don't you?
I do.
Yes.
I do.
And last week we did a great interview with Matty, and after the interview we did actually, I guess what you could call a post-interview interview, and we're going to show that tonight. We'll take a little break from what we're doing here, and then we'll go show that, and then we'll come back. So, Leonard, let's get busy and have your interview. Okay? Welcome, and good to see you again.
Thank you again for having me.
Yes, oh my God, very happy to have you here. Now listen, what was this? When I was doing my homework on you, when you were a kid, what was it? You used to like to sing in the school bus?
I did. I really did. Well, I wasn't alone.
Right.
You know, it was myself and my friends on the school bus. You know, whether when we were going home or on our way to school, we would sing like just some of our favorite songs. Just to pass the time. One of our favorites was R. Kelly, The World's Greatest. I love that song. I do. Yes. I do. It's one of my favorites. And Usher, You Got It Bad.
All right.
And
that one I do know. Okay.
You do know that.
I know that one.
Very cool. And the last one that we really loved was he was known as Puff Daddy back then, but he's changing his moniker every now and then. Puff Daddy, P Diddy, But
Puff Daddy is not Puff Daddy anymore?
Well, he changed it. Is it by Diddy?
Let's move on. I don't know.
But,
who they changed their name so much these days.
Yeah, but the song was "I'll Be Missing You." It was a tribute to B.I.G.
Listen, I've been calling him Puff Daddy for years, so.
We love that song so much.
Okay, now listen, you are now at the School of Professional Studies. Now, your good friend Matty, he actually teaches there.
Yes,
okay.
Definitely.
Now, what is your what is it? Disability studies in higher education, disability services in higher education?
Yes, it's disability services in higher education, which is a fully online program.
Fully online. Now, what exactly is that? Because a lot of people might not really know what that degree would the curriculum of that degree, and what kind of career will you have after?
So basically, the program is for people who are interested in working with people with disabilities in regards to, for example, accommodations. As a student with a disability, myself, I like back in undergrad, I had a lot of I needed accommodations.
Sure.
When attending classes, like having extended time on exams, or taking my exam not in the classroom but like in another room, like in a disability office. So basically it's for people who are interested in working with people, and making sure that they are appropriately and properly accommodated.
Right.
Depending on what their disability is and how their disability affects them academically. So, and it's about, getting to know that student so we can find out what accommodations best suit their needs.
Right. Well, I think that's an excellent degree. It sounds like my job. I love my job. So whoever's in the degree, good luck, and hopefully we'll work together someday.
I would love that.
Now, what is your disability?
So my disability, it's actually not everyone knows what it's called, or at least based on my experience when I tell people what it is. It's called arthrogryposis, and so basically it's a muscle condition where the joints within the body are either crooked, they're stiff, or they lack the flexibility. Like with the hands or the arms or with my legs.
Right.
So basically, yeah, it's a muscle condition that affects me, you know, to the point where I'm in a wheelchair.
Okay.
So, but you know, I lived a really, really great life. You know,
I was
no
going to.
matter-
Well, you've won quite a few awards. Quite a few, and now I've heard that Michael D. Solomon is your favorite one, or not your favorite. I don't want to say it that way now. Okay, let's be politically correct. Michael D. Solomon, the Michael D. Solomon Award is one that you really do have emotion
Yeah, it's one
for.
of my favorite. Yeah, I shouldn't say that, but yeah, it's one of no, it's definitely one of the awards that that speaks to me, and you know, that makes me think back. I actually won it back in the spring semester of 2013. The award is for individuals who are able to achieve academic success, you know, despite the obstacles that they may face. Like in my case, you know, being physically challenged, and you know, the obstacles that come along with that. So yeah, receiving an award, you know, for doing just that, you know, like getting my degree in psychology, you know, despite the obstacles, it was definitely a wonderful and very, very special award to win.
Yeah. What is your current GPA at the School of Professional Studies?
My current GPA right now is a 4.0.
Wow.
And I'm, yes, I gotta give myself a little clap for that. You know, and actually, not just a clap, I'll give myself a little, there we go, a little horn, little horn for that, because no, I'm definitely very proud of that.
Okay. Now, it sounds like you're doing great. Now, something that you all were involved with only a few weeks ago, I believe it was the USS Building Bridges Conference. Now,
That is
quickly
correct.
just explain what that was.
So basically, I mean, the USS Building Bridges Conference was basically a day where we had, you know, various workshops on different topics, you know, related to people with disabilities, you know, topics such as sports and disability, healthy relationships, people with disabilities, and, you know, the media, and yeah, it was basically just having topics, you know, and just maybe educating, you know, people, you know, about different areas and the aspects for people with disabilities.
And I think you all were awarded from the City University of New York Leadership Awards for your help in that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we were.
Well, as we all see, I am wearing a NYC CCSD T-shirt. I love this T-shirt. I'm looking at it at the monitor and I'm going the wrong way because as we see it looks entirely different on the telly as it does here. Yeah. But anyway, you all are involved with CCSD, and I like working with you guys too. I love working with you all. Rinjan, you got involved at King. It was when you were doing your associates at Kingsborough. That's when you first got involved with CCSD?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll explain that. I first joined CCSD on December, I would say 6, 2010. Yes, I remember the date correctly.
Wow.
My first ever meeting, it was amazing because we had like free food. I met a few people, and I remember one of my friends who graduated from Kingsborough and also graduated from City College. His name is Stephen Rodriguez, who was a chairman. He actually invited me. I met new friends. I wasn't alone, actually. I felt good about it. It's about to be 6.5 years as a member. Hopefully become an E-board member. That's one of my short-term goals once I come back.
Wow.
So yes, it is.
Okay,
it's really
great. And you also, I think it was also while at Kingsborough. No, what was it? I hope I don't butcher that. Anthean Student Poetry Club? What was the poetry club you were involved with?
Let's see. Antheon is basically a club. Well, it's also part of Scepter as well. I've been involved in it. Well, I was actually volunteering from 2011, 2012. I received a certificate of recognition for both of them. I would say June 2011. I think it was 10 or 11. And the second one, I also received a certificate of recognition. What made me join Antheon is also called spoken word, but the thing is Antheon does proses, stories, short-term novels, other than poetry. And what got me involved into Antheon is because, well, I'm actually good at poetry. I never got mine submitted, but at least I was able to support the people who were there, and I was actually volunteering. I had a good experience. And I kept writing poetry on my other times. So I actually started writing in like 2011. And the good thing is I started loving English because in the past I used to not like it as much, but as time progresses, by the time I was writing more, let's say, I'll tell you my type. I write love poems, romance poems, whichever. I just like whatever I write to, because it usually helps me improve my vocabulary, get better at my thesis.
Wow, good. So you're using it as a learning tool also.
Yes, to face my fears against English, because I am trying my best to do better in that class, because I know English is my favorite now.
Okay, and you're also involved, I see, with New York Cares.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, what is New York Cares, and what do you do with New York Cares?
New York Cares is a volunteering program. You get involved on it. Basically, what made me start joining New York Cares was one of my former job coaches back at the Birch. I was on January 2016, and basically he was actually getting me involved into one around Brooklyn. I think it was for the food pantry. And he wasn't able to come, but I was able to go, and it was pretty good because I got to meet people. I was able to make sure that the peers were all right. I actually joined other projects, especially one of my favorites, which is not going as well as I thought, but it was a math project because I love math, and that's one of my favorites. That's one of my favorite projects because, well, math, yes, basically you got to help high school students with math, and I was able to become like a little tutor, like I was one of those volunteers, and the team leader was asking people to like help them with, like, say, percentages and fractions. So it was actually pretty interesting. I still do it, but not as much, but I'm trying my best to stay active on it.
Great, okay, good. Now, and what is your disability?
Let's see, I'm gonna be honest about that. I'm gonna tell you, I haven't got diagnosed as a disability as of yet, but I will tell you I had a speech impediment when I was young.
Right.
And I'm not going to be dishonest about it because I haven't really gotten to what my disability is, whether it's autism or Asperger's syndrome. But all I can say is I haven't been very quiet. I had to go through an IMP program, and that's what got me into special ed. So I don't know exactly what my disability is, but I can tell you that I've been speaking well because, well, let's say my mom's been training me to get better, and now I've become more social and more involved.
I was going to say, because you're very sociable.
Yes.
You're very sociable within Cuny.
Yes.
Right, and that, I think, has really been very helpful. Yes, that's the message that I'm hearing you say.
Yes, and now I came to say the word right now. So basically, when maybe become social, let's see. Oh, I got a lot of people that support me, even with the former chairman, Luis Gutierrez, who graduated in Hunter with a master's, and he also inspired me to become more social too. Because I need to get my act together and become open to the world, become open-minded. So,
well, you're doing a great job. So,
yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, we'll come back to all of you. I'm going to take a little break from the studio. And go now. Let's take a few minutes. As I said, last week we did this great interview with Matt Conlin. I loved having him here. He did a great job on the show. And when we stopped filming, I asked if he could stick around, and we actually, as I said earlier, we had an interview after the interview. So what we want to do is we want to show that footage. I did have a few more questions to ask. So I want us to go to the writing aspect of things one more time.
Absolutely.
Within the disabilities factor, you have been very, very vocal about identity, and again in academia, within your education. But something that does seem to be missing a good bit of is disability pride as well as disability identity in film and TV. And the previous show, we spoke about this with the character always being somewhat of the, I don't want to use the word lesser character by any means. I'm talking about a fictitious character, but a character that has got to overcome something, a character that's got to, more or less, he's struggling.
Absolutely. I would like to begin by saying that the typical narrative would be either the overcoming or the pity narrative.
Yes.
But disability pride is a huge movement, and there is no shame in disability, and the stigma is breaking down. And I think that you see it on shows like Speechless, where you have the main character, JJ, who openly kids around about the way people interact with him and the way people interact with his CP. And it changes the narrative, because it goes from being a story about disability in terms of, oh, we feel bad for him, and oh, this is awful, and it flips it on its head. And it makes it more about his response to, why are they feeling this way about me? And, oh God, this is ridiculous. So it changes it in such a way that makes having the disability a moment of acceptance and of pride and ultimately, in that show, humor.
Yes.
And I think disability and humor is something that is vastly underrated. We have comedians in disability. Marlee Matlin, for example, has been gloriously funny on her Twitter. We have Maysoon Zaid, who's
Yes.
also actually on the panel that you discussed.
Yes.
And it just allows more diversity within the communication of disability on TV and in film.
You know, I did a short film not that long ago that has appeared in a few film festivals. One of the characters actually is, fictitious characters actually is a paraplegic. In real life, this young actor is not a paraplegic. And I did get some slack for that, I did. I'm not going to say that I would be opposed to casting. I'm not even going to say that I didn't reach out to a few disabled actors and or their agents. But in the end, the young man who was cast looked the part. I mean, he just looked the part of what I was, looking for.
As you said, when you were reaching out for casting opportunities, that as long as equity was in play,
Yes.
that the offer was given to actors with disabilities and their agents, and they were able to communicate with you about whether or not they want the part, I think that changes a lot of it. I think that just reaching out and saying that this is an opportunity for you and that you have the equal access to playing this character is the main part of it. And from there, it's really just what your vision is, that creative license that we were talking about.
Okay, and I think though that I do want us to touch on something else before we end. The concept of humor, you quickly touched on it before. Where would you think we would go with that though in a character? I mean, where? I mean, that to me would be somewhat of a, I don't know, I kind of, would we want to have the disability made fun of? Would we want the character to be confident enough that he would allow it? You know, what would you think would be, I guess you could say, a line that would be drawn?
I think this is going to be a conversation that's different among different scholars.
Yes.
And it's going to be highly contested no matter what. I tend to be the kind of person that I can make fun of myself. I can enjoy my identity as a person with a disability. And you know what? If you want to make fun of me, by all means, go ahead. But I'm going to throw it right back at you. And it's going to be an open awareness of not using me as a stereotype to make fun of, but using it as jest or to make a commentary or social commentary on that experience.
Right. Okay. And I think anything you would like to ask? I'm done. They gave us this extra time, so thank you for sticking around.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the show is great. Thank you for coming on the show. You know, part of this show actually is about what we're speaking of now is just bringing awareness to people with disabilities. And we're going into ending up with our first year, which is what these congratulation balloons are about here. Yeah, because a friend of mine sent them to me. But at the end of the day, I will say it's been great doing this show. It really has. And this topic has really, though, made me think. My first line of work, actually, I was a model actor, and I do have my SAG card. And I know it is long and hard days on a movie set. It really is a long, hard day on a movie set. I remember, and they never would, I never made it. I was always just in background or whatever. But, you know, at the end of the day, hey, 16, 17-hour day is a 16, 17-hour day. Yeah, whether you're in the trailer or whether you're, you know, sitting around or in the holding area. You know, but I do really believe that we could get somewhere with this, and I believe that if enough actors who are disabled would become more visible, it really would help change the way the population as a whole, the nation views disabled people.
Absolutely, I feel like it's getting there. There have been actors and actresses that have come forward. We've even had just like Nick Jonas in music has said has diabetes. Lady Gaga has spoken about her post-traumatic stress. And they're giving a voice to say that you can be in the entertainment industry and be a leading voice within the entertainment industry. And we're breaking down the doors. Daryl Hannah has spoken.
Yes.
And so have many others. You know, it's like any other barrier that's come across in history, whether it was racial inequality or gender inequality, or now disability studies and disability inequality is getting some attention. And I think it's about visibility. I think it's about breaking down the stigma and for people to feel comfortable. So we'll see where it goes. I hope it keeps going.
I hope so too. And again, as I asked you the end of last show, we would love to have you back anytime. Okay, so come back and see us.
It would be a pleasure.
Okay, take care.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you.
Cut. Thank you, cut.
Thank you. Welcome back. Okay, we are back. Roberto Zamoro.
I'm sorry, Troy. I just have one question to
Sure,
ask.
yeah, what?
Who are we?
CCSD!
All right.
What was that?
That is our motto. That
Your
is
motto.
That is
Who
what
are
we do.
Oh, CCSD.
CCSD.
I love it. Yes, I love it.
Charmaine Worthy. Hey, Charmaine.
Charmaine.
You know, shoot every time, you know, to get us. to get us. Hey, it gets us going. It gets us, you know, pumped. You know,
Lively.
She says it every time. Who are we? CCSD. It's what we do. So you know.
Did Charmaine put you up to doing that in my show?
No, I can honestly say no. I can honestly say no.
Good answer.
Believe it or not, I hope she's mad that I did that.
All right, Roberto, how are you? So good to see you again.
Likewise, thank
you. And of
you.
course, you're like family around here, and we're always happy to have you. Okay, now listen, how do you like John Jay? When you were last on the show, you were making the transition from a 2-year to a 4-year. Now, what's going on there at John Jay? How is everything?
Well, the John Jay for me now is experiencing now is great. I actually was able to got myself comfort in my new environment after this 1 year. So it's actually officially now 1 year after finishing up my junior year. Met a lot of great professors, met a lot of good friends. Also got involved with more of these activities that they do around my campus. So I'm trying to actually become a good fierce advocate to myself.
That's great. You're great, and congratulations. Congratulations on all of you for the USS building bridges. Yes, that was wonderful. All right, well, you know what? You are a political science major. Yeah. Okay, now if I'm understanding this correctly, you do want to have a career in politics. You do want to be an advocate. What is going on in politics these days?
I mean, he's trying to change a lot of things over himself. I mean, he's already eliminated a couple of people in the cabinets. He's already have recruited people that don't have experience as well. Especially now, I mean, in what I'm seeing now, he's trying to make changes onto another direction. More like saying that's, I wouldn't want to use the word, but pretty much the people are getting him upset a lot now because of his trends and the political climate itself. It's just turning upside down.
Okay,
Yes.
Can you please define upside down?
Okay, so what I mean is, the way he's trying to do is over these stuff that he's passed through, over his own power, the executive, and then you have the Congress, more of the people are Republicans, and we're seeing him now passing bills that are just not pleasing people, like the travel ban,
Yes.
the construction of the wall that he's trying to propose, cutbacks on taxes on some points, stuff that we pay out of, that we don't get benefits anymore, and especially for the repealing of the Medicare, which is affecting to a lot of good people, especially for people with disabilities.
Yes. It is very, very concerning. I guess I could open this up to anybody. I know we have a psych major here, and you all are very active and understand and appreciate the very positive aspects of having a good image, because you all represent CCSD at some time or another. But do we think Trump is even concerned about his image? Sometimes I question that. I don't know. I mean, and this image that he inadvertently is creating for himself, how do we think that that's going to play in the psychosocial dynamics of America?
Oh, wow.
You know?
Me? Okay.
Yeah, sure. You take.
How is that gonna play out? I mean, just what you were saying about image. I mean, I believe, you know, image is definitely important. You know, you definitely want to represent yourself, you know, in the best light. You know, and when I say that, I mean, you want to be yourself. You know,
Right.
you want people to see you for who you are, and I mean, and I don't know if what we've seen of Trump is really who he is, but if it is, I mean, I'm going to respectfully say that it's not the best image.
Right.
You know.
I think that I can certainly understand that. They're giving me the wind up, but I just want to throw one more thing in. I love what you said about representation. But certain people, myself included, being a college professor and working for the City University of New York, and you are a future politician, and all of you in leadership positions, when we step into these roles, we have to take on a responsibility,
Yes.
not just to represent ourselves, but to represent the organization or the campus or the group or the whatever it is that we are representing. And that's why I'm very happy that you're all three in school, you're all three trying to make a difference. And of course, I wish you all the best.
Thank you
and
very
you
much.
always have an open door. As you see, we brought everything together just for you to be here.
CCSD.
So hopefully the next time you come back, we will have a nice professional sound stage, and everything will be back to normal. But I can't thank you enough for showing up on short notice, and it's been great.
was
It's been
a
a fun
pleasure.
show. It has